Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Ellie here. And I'm just wanting to talk to you guys about a new trail running series that I am starting. This will be the first video of what I'm hoping is going to be a 4-part series. And this is just going to be some of my favorite trail runs in Central Oregon. And what I mean by Central Oregon, the area around Sisters, Redmond, Madras, Prineville, Lapine, with Bend kind of being in the center. Lefty and I are spending late fall to late spring out here in Bend, Oregon. We're both originally from this area, and so we're so excited to be back here to be with family and friends. So the first part of this trail series, this video is going to be 2 of my favorite trail runs that I typically will take to get away from the crowds. Again, a lot of you that know this area, it is beautiful. The trails are amazing. And so it attracts a ton of visitors, a ton of people. And I mean, this area has just boomed in, God, I would say the last 10 to 15 years is really grown in population and size and popularity for people to come out and visit. So the trails do get really congested. The winter isn't as bad, but the summer definitely, like there's so many people out here enjoying the beauty that this area has to offer. But anyway, so these are 2 of my favorite runs that if I'm trying to get away from the crowds, this is typically where I'm going to go to get a little more solitude. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this first video for this 4-part series for my favorite trail runs in Central Oregon.
Hey everyone, I am here at Steenspiller Trailhead. This is definitely one of my top trails to come to if I am trying to get away from the crowds. I am here on a Thursday afternoon and there's one other car in the parking lot, so it's a really good sign. I have been here on the weekends and there will be more people, but it's still never super crowded here, which is something I absolutely love about it. This trail is located just east of Prineville. I drove out here from North Bend and it took me about an hour and 15 minutes to get here. And it took me that long because I took a wrong turn. I've been here. I have been to this trail so many times, and yet I still get lost. So anyways, it's not difficult to get out here. There are a couple of turns. It's just me. Anyways, it is a beautiful day. This trail is located in the Otiko National Forest, which is one of my favorite places on the planet. And the trail is an out and back. It's a total of about 4 miles, so it's not super long and it's relatively flat. There are a couple of like steep sections, but they're really short. But this place is so special. The drive out here is absolutely gorgeous. Being up here it's just one of my happy places. Another thing noteworthy is you're going to be on the highway heading from when you leave Prineville, heading out towards Mitchell, and you're going to turn on Mill Creek Road, which is also going out. There'll be a sign saying, I think it's like Wildcat Campground. That road is open range. And if you don't know what open range means, it pretty much means that ranchers and farmers have their cattle grazing out there and they roam freely. If you hit a cow, you pay for the cow. So drive safely, drive cautiously. And there are also a ton of deer and elk out here as well. Wild turkey, there's some wild horses out here. So just make sure to drive extra cautiously. When you turn off that road, Mill Creek Road, to head up to the trailhead, it's about a 2-mile section. And that section of road is pretty bumpy. I did once upon a time, years ago, make it out here in a 1992 Toyota Tercel. So if you have mad skills, you can make it work. I'm pretty sure my husband was driving at that time. But I would highly recommend a vehicle with a bit more clearance, like a small SUV. I came out here in my Toyota Tacoma, so I had no issues whatsoever. But I have seen people out here too in just like normal cars, sedans. So you can make it up. It's just you're gonna have to go a lot slower, and there's gonna be a little bit more maneuvering to get around. So just be cautious about that. But with that, let's head out for this run. There are ranches and farms out here. So I kind of talked about open range earlier, but this is like all farming there. It's just absolutely beautiful. How lucky are they? I tell you what. And then if you keep going down here, it's a little sketchy. Not bad, just a little. There's a little kind of like cave section here. But the views, if you're afraid of heights, I wouldn't recommend, but if you're not and you are deemed to be careful, just look at that. Just gorgeous. All right, you guys. Well, I think that pretty much sums up this run. It's an out and back, so we already went out. So the back is going to be the same scenery, so I'm not going to bore you with that. Though it's not boring, is it? It's absolutely beautiful. But anyway, so I think I'm going to take advantage of having a little bit of solitude myself for the run back to the truck, back to the trailhead. Yeah, like it's been just a super peaceful and beautiful run. I'm really glad I could have you guys join along. And I hope you really enjoyed the scenes of this trail. It's absolutely fantastic. and we will see you in the next one.
All right, we are out here at Skull Hollow Trailhead for our second run that I would highly recommend for getting away from the crowds for trail running. There are multiple trails out here that expand anywhere from just a few miles to like connecting to the trails to do like 20 plus miles. So it's a really great area for options. I would say one of the downfalls is that there's just no water access. So if you're out here, you're wanting to do a long run, you have to bring all your water. There's nowhere to like gather water to even filter. This trailhead is located just northeast of Redmond off of the Lone Pine Highway. It is actually on the backside of Smith Rock State Park. The trailhead's great. There's restrooms available that you can use, just pit toilets, but it's nice, better than nothing. You don't have to pay to park, just come and park. You'll notice that when you come into the parking area, there are two parking lots. The first parking lot is reserved for like horse trailers. And then the second lot is for just people that are wanting to run, hike, mountain bike. So these trails are really popular for mountain bikers. I see more mountain bikers out here than people riding on horseback or runners and hikers. The route that I typically go on is starting at the Skull Hollow Trailhead. I will take the Coal Loop Trail up to the Gray Butte Saddle. So it's just an out and back. So I go up there to the Gray Butte Saddle, turn around and come back. And that's about 5 miles. There is some elevation gain, but it makes the run back a ton of fun because you're like really able to book it coming down, it makes it worth it. And this is coming from a person that doesn't like to do a lot of uphill, even though I find myself running a lot of races and trails that have a ton of elevation gain. But anyway, so it's really nice. This is a great trail for all seasons, though in the summer, there's not a lot of coverage, so it does get really hot. So I would really recommend that you come out earlier in the morning or later in the evening or afternoon to run out here. Well, first 2.5 miles are where all the elevation gain is, and it's only like around between 600 and 700 feet. So it's something, but not much. I do end up walking quite a few of the portions of the uphill because I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm just out here to get a good workout in, enjoy the run, enjoy the views. Lots of just beautiful Central Oregon high desert scenery. It can be really hard to find a lot of great trail runs in the winter just because with the weather, a lot of those higher elevation runs that we all love being in Central Oregon are just not very accessible in the winter because of the snow. The snow becomes a lot. So you kind of have to come to the lower elevations to seek out some trail runs that are more accessible. But anyways, I think I've probably told you about as much as I can about this area and this run. So let's just go ahead and get on it. Let's get to it and enjoy this run.
let's chat a little bit about this trail as I am huffing and puffing my way up. Just the last, I mean, it's pretty flat right now, but we're going to be heading into like the last bit of ascent before we get to the Grey Butte Saddle. And it is such a beautiful day. I way overdressed. Well, let's start again. Had some wonderful runners just go by with an adorable dog. Okay, anyways, let's talk about this run a little bit. It's a gorgeous day, way overdressed. Was not expecting it to be this warm in January. Very odd. You might have noticed that on part of the trail I was opening a gate, going through and closing it again. That's because this trail system is located on an open range land. And as you know from like the earlier video at Steens Pillar, that just means that ranchers are allowed to graze their cattle freely on this land. So the gates stop the cattle from getting out into the road section. So it's really important that when you're going through those gates to remember to close them when you're through. So I probably saw all the vehicles combined, probably like 10 or 12 vehicles, which is quite a lot. But because the trail system extends so far, there's so many access points, there's different trails, I've only run into 4 people so far, which I feel like for a Central Oregon trail run is like nothing at all. No crowds, gorgeous day. It's a good day to be alive. All right, here we are at the turnaround point for us. This is the Grey Butte Saddle. So this is like a service road. So there's a gate like blocking people from actually being able to drive on it unless they have access. So if you're like with a group of people and you're just wanting to do a hike and you're not into the single track trail, which I was just on, this road curves down and like passes across the trail, and it's going to go to the trailhead. Now, if you keep going down the road, there will be a trail heading to the right that will lead you down to some more trail access, including access into Smith Rock State Park. And then if you go here to the right and keep going up this dirt road, that will lead you straight up there to Grey Butte. So you can go up there. So, I mean, I'm going to turn around now. This is kind of like my normal route. It's just like I said, out and back, it's 5 miles, but you can add on a ton of mileage if you're looking for a longer run. Plus, if you kind of keep going down here, and on a clear day, you have these absolutely epic views of the mountains out here. I'm going to walk down a little bit further. So if you go up to Grey Butte, it's going to be even more stellar because you're going to be able to see Mount Jefferson, Mount Washington, sometimes even Mount Hood on a really clear day. Not a super clear day, but man, clear enough. Really makes that snow pop. There we are. It's a beautiful view. The Broken Top, beautiful view of Broken Top and Three Sisters. But yeah, this is our turnaround point, and it's kind of like my favorite part because it's pretty much practically all downhill from here, heading back. So let's do it. All right, y'all. Hopefully you can hear me okay. It's pretty windy, and I couldn't use my Bluetooth microphone because I forgot to charge it before this trip, so bummer. Anyways, I am almost back at the trailhead, and so I think I'm going to close out this video and the first part to the Central Oregon Trail Running Series. There are just so many amazing trails out here that, I mean, I just couldn't cover them all for sure. But for during the winter and just having access, like, I think these are two great options if you're wanting to have a little more solitude on a trail run, kind of get away from some of those crowds that you're definitely going to see more of, like inside the Smith Rock State Park, down along like some of the river trails in Bend, etc., etc. So yeah, hope you can come out someday and check them out. And we will go ahead and see you in the next trail running series. Bye bye.